So I took a road trip between June of 2013 and August of 2013, just after I graduated from college. And this road trip was a really important time for me since it was coming right out of college when I had been very busy with college, with my work in the admission office, and several other extracurriculars that were wonderful, that I cared about a lot, but were also a lot of time and energy spent toward building up other people and other people's experiences. So this was the first time in a long time that I just had a concentrated period of time that was all focused on what I wanted to do. It was very meaningful for me to have a big chunk of time just by myself, since I spent the first month and a half road tripping alone. I had a friend join for the last month, but although I stayed with friends and couch surfing hosts along the way, I had all of the car time, and a lot of the time actually visiting cities and monuments and various places to myself. And so it was a really wonderful time to be alone with my thoughts, with my impressions of places, and really get better in touch with myself and what I wanted out of life and who I was. It was an amazing time to experience just the diversity of the USA, because I'd already traveled a lot in France at that point and had seen, how diverse the different regions are of France. And whenever I talked to French tourists, French people who had been tourists in the United States, they told me, New York, blah, 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 Washington, D.C., blah, blah, blah. And I could tell that they didn't know the America that I knew. So for me, it was a real joy to discover what the East Coast was, what the South was, and just how diverse and different the United States are. I also realized in that time just how much I had romanticized France and Europe and thought that they alone were the amazing places. But with traveling like that around the United States, I got to see just how beautiful and how diverse and unique different parts of America are, and I came to be very proud of my country and just want to continue to explore it more. My favorite moments on the road trip were definitely the unplanned times. For example, I had a day when I was traveling between 4 states in one day, and I was going from Illinois through Ohio and Indiana and on to Pennsylvania, and I stopped. I had to go to the bathroom, and I was driving and I saw a sign for bathrooms and for an antique village, and I thought, antiques, cool, this will be a fun little stop. I found a rest stop and then was exploring a couple of the antique boutiques that were there. And while I was going through one, I met the owner. He came up and he asked me why I was interested in what I was looking at, and I started telling him a little bit about my trip, and he was really excited and really interested. And he was someone very different from me, but despite our differences, he was so excited about what I was doing, he invited me to stick around and have a drink and talk more, and he played music for me and shared a bit about his music passion, and he shared a lot about his past and his story. And it was such a beautiful and spontaneous connection, and totally unplanned. And as I was leaving, he offered for me to stay the night, but I already had plans and I needed to keep going. But he gave me this beautiful necklace from his shop as a souvenir. And I just really felt that that was a really special connection that happened over the course of maybe an hour of chatting. So overall, it was a really incredible trip for me, and a really fantastic time to get a better sense of who I am, and really just be alone with myself and my thoughts, and also just see a lot more of my country and get more excited for the possibilities that are waiting for me in the United States.